Describe what you saw firsthand. As this, before it goes viral, you're sitting in there and you're watching these cops cuff these two brothers up and haul them out for essentially sitting there. What did you see? What are you seeing and thinking in that moment as you're sitting there?
I want to explain it from the very beginning.
Go for it.
I saw them walk in from my left, and I had been watching them because I thought the one guy was cute. I'm gonna be totally honest. I was like, he is really, really cute, but I think he's too young for me, like whatever.
He's still young.
He's so young. I know. But you can't tell a black man. I'm like, is he 25? Is he 40? I don't know.
I can relate to that.
We had this conversation.
We did. Even just today, we were like, So I watched them walk up, and they immediately went to the barista and said, "Can we use the bathroom?" And she said, "No, it's for paying customers only." And so they were like, "Oh, okay." And they sat down. And I saw her mouth something to herself. And my first thought was, she just said something racist. But I caught myself and I said, "Michelle, you don't know she said that. Now you're being judgmental. You have no idea what she's saying. Just relax, girl." I went back and did my work. Within a few minutes, the cops were there. So I said, I think my intuition was correct. I have learned to always trust my gut. And she pointed to the two men and she said that they are refusing to leave for not buying anything. And I was like, oh my gosh, this bitch is lying from the get-go. She is lying right now. I'm watching her. And I look over at the two brothers and they look up and they look back down. But then they look up again. And I would never forget the look on their faces. It was like, are those cops walking towards us?
Don't get no fight with them. Don't get no fight with them. Yeah, I'm eating. It's ridiculous. Yeah, what did they get called for? Because there are two black guys sitting here meeting me?
Yes.
Well, what did they do? What did they do? Did someone tell me what they did?
They didn't do anything. I saw the entire thing.
They didn't. What did they do?
Nothing. And the woman said it's for paying customers only and after us leave. They didn't do anything.
Is this, you can see, you can feel their anxiety. And so I started getting anxious immediately. I'm like, what the fuck? But like just what's going on? Like I saw her lie. They didn't do anything. I know they didn't do anything. I'm watching them. So cops walk over and very quickly I got up to go film them because I was like, you know what? She's lying. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but I need to at least start filming it, right? Mm-hmm. Because at that point, there were only like 4 black people in the whole Starbucks.
And that's your voice. That just...
Yeah, when I was saying they didn't do anything, because I watched the whole thing, there was a white guy sitting next to me for 45 minutes who didn't buy anything. I saw a white woman come in and use the bathroom. She was mid-jog. I remember I think she even had purple or pink headphones. She came in, used the bathroom, and she left. And I remember thinking to myself, I wonder if maybe she works here. Maybe she's like here all the time and they just know her. They just like let her in to use the bathroom. Like that was interesting because, those guys couldn't use the bathroom, but I saw her use the bathroom. So what's that about? And this guy next to me isn't buying anything. So like what is like, to me, it's like, okay, this is racism. This is clearly racism. So, I'm seeing them try to explain to the cops. They're not listening. I see another asshole cop walk in. He's all agitated. He's wearing the dark blue. If you're listening to me, you're wearing the dark blue. I saw you. You could just tell that he just wanted to do something. Like they escalated the situation. They didn't buy coffees. It's a Starbucks. You can't tell me that you don't know people go into Starbucks all day and sit there. You can't tell me that.
I've been that guy before.
We all have. I was one of those. I mean, actually, no, I did buy a drink. But again, it happens all the time. So, the Andrew walks in, their friend, and everyone's like, what's going on? I tell the girl behind me they're being arrested for not buying coffees, like what is going on? And then I hear people start chattering behind me. And at this point now, I'm physically shaking and I'm sweating because I'm like, I need to do something. I don't know what to do. So I went up to the cop and I said, why are you arresting them? And he goes, go ask the barista. And I was like, that's an interesting answer. Why can't you answer me? But fine. So I went up to the barista and I said, why'd you call the cops? And her face got all red, her chest got bright red, and she was like, oh, I can't say. And I was like, well, I can say. I saw the whole thing. They didn't do anything. I said, did you feel like your life was in danger? She wouldn't look at me. She wouldn't talk to me. She just kept working behind the counter, which pissed me off. So I said it again. I said, did you feel like you were being threatened in any way, shape, or form? And she would not answer me. So I walked back. I yelled. I don't know if I said F word or not, but I said, you're a coward. I walked back to my table. And I'm packing up all my stuff to leave, and I look up, and there's like a bunch of white women just standing up and staring at me. And I looked, Melissa and I like made eye contact, and she was like, "I was just here, I think the other day, and I come here all the time, and I don't buy anything, and I'm asked to leave, and you know why." And then we all walked out, and there was a lot more commotion as we walked out. But I remember, I was just shaking. Like I had a meeting later that evening, and I couldn't go to the meeting because I was so pissed off. Not only did I feel being black, I saw it, and the way the woman was just so dismissive, and the way the cops were actually dismissive of me too. Like it was like, I remember the one cop he was like, "Well, you saw us. We weren't being disrespectful, were we?" And I was like, "You weren't necessarily being disrespectful." And I said, "But do you understand that you're arresting them for not buying an effing latte?" And then they turned around and they turned their backs to me because they didn't have an answer for that. And then we were sitting outside talking to a bunch of white women, and they were like, "We can't believe how calm they were. We would have flipped out." And I had a nice little white privilege, study session that day. I was like, "And you would have been able to do that because you're a white girl." And they were all in agreement. They were like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yep.
It was really they handled themselves very well, but they out of necessity.
It's to survive. It's a survival tactic.
Yes.
It's a thing that as black men, we have to do.
No matter what.
It's the you want to get mad. You want to get angry. You want to say, "Dude, what the fuck?" You want to do all these things. You want to get pissed off, but you want to live. And I keep hearing my dad's words in my ear. Just get home.
Yeah.
Just get home. Don't worry. I know what they'll do to you. Just get home. He said, I'm 38 years old. My dad still says this to me. Just get home. Don't worry about anything else. Get back to the crib and and at worst case scenario, let your lawyers handle it. But get home. And that's what I can tell from watching that video. And Melissa, you sent the tweet. Like I said, you sent the tweet seen around the world. What are you thinking when you first see this video? And then you retweet it, and it just goes hyper viral at that point.
So there was a girl sitting next to me, and I didn't actually video it. This other girl videoed it. And when we had all walked out, we were standing around, and I was like, somebody has to share this. And she was like, "Oh, well, so I'll send it to you." Mm-hmm. So I had no followers. I have like 300 followers or something on Twitter because I wasn't really tweeting. And I'm like, well, I'm going to tweet it anyway. So I'm like writing this caption, and I'm like showing, I remember showing Michelle. I was like, is this good? And I was like, fuck it, I don't care. And I just tweeted it. And then I was like, I was so mad. I was like the angry white lady, which I'm allowed to be.
Exactly.
Because as someone said to me recently, "You are the most innocent being on earth, a white woman," right? So I get called everything. I get called the white whisperer, etc. So I tweeted it, and then I was like, okay, well let me try to share it with. I tweeted it at DeRay, and I tweeted it at Sean King. And I think Sean King was one of the first people. It took a whole 24 hours.
Yeah, because I was in New York at the NABJ regional conference, and it was around the middle. It was on a Friday because it happened on those Thursdays, middle of the day Friday. But we had heard kind of buzz coming out of Philly about it. I'm sitting in this conference room, and I look at my phone, and I scan Twitter, and I see the video. And the first thing I do is just sit back in the chair and just shake my head. And I just immediately ask, it's like, what the hell is this?
So wait, explain. So I still can't get this is why I have to believe a lot of the reason it went so viral was because a white person was calling it out.
It's
because why if this it is happening every day, everywhere, why have we never seen it before? Or is it the white people haven't seen it before?
I attribute it to, well, for one, the fact that you tweeted it helps a ton because it gave a different voice. It's almost like it allowed people to be pissed off about it instead of just dismissing it as, well, it's just black people. Yeah. They're just doing this again. But when you send it out, it actually, unfortunately, lends credence to it.
Exactly, which sucks. Don't listen to me.
It lends credence to it. And yeah, we find ourselves in that position where, and I've said this numerous times on various episodes of this show, that just think about what it would have been like had there been cell phone cameras, digital cameras around. I mean, the reason that Rodney King was such a big deal in 1992 was because a guy caught it on his camcorder.
Right.
And the shit was all over the country within 24 hours. Where I'm in Detroit watching the LAPD beat this guy down, but you've heard for years and years and years that police brutality is happening. I've listened to enough of NWA and Ice Cube, and they talk about all this different stuff is happening. But then you actually see Rodney King getting the shit kicked out of him, and it's like, wow. Now with social media, people can send out videos, but they're at the same time, well, we don't know the whole story. It's that bias that kicks in. And there's a bias that if I tweeted that thing out, it may get a couple hundred retweets. If you get a white woman from Philadelphia, boom.
That's middle-aged white lady. I mean, it's like, oh, well, it must be true. What? People, listen. Don't listen to me.
Well, listen to you. But listen to us too. That's the thing.
White people, listen to me when I tell you to listen to them.